Good afternoon. Coming to you live in the gym in Selma Park, New Mexico. This is the 343 commitment and still counting 110th floor Memorial Stair Climb for our brother, firefighter Sergio Villanueva. Off of ladder 132 for rotation on 9/11. Ladder 132 is housed with engine 280 out of Brooklyn, the eye of the storm. Our brother was actually permanently assigned, or from what I understood, assigned to Manhattan's, the Wall Street Bulls, engine 4, ladder 15, and the Decon unit. But on that day of 9/11, he was actually on ladder 132. This climb is dedicated to his mother, Delia, his brother and sister, Marisela and Steve, and his fiancée, Tanya. I got to see Sergio's memorial page on Facebook, and this is his climb to give honor and respect for his service to not only the NYPD initially, but the FDNY. So, our brother was 33 years old at the time of his response on 9/11. And originally from Argentina, a huge soccer fan. It said that he played soccer, and on the 9th, he actually scored the only goal at the last little bit of time for the FDNY soccer team. So he was on the field, hit that ball, and it went into the goal, 1-0. But it said that he was a huge soccer fan from Argentina. So Tanya would have to wear a hat with these dangling things on the hat, and then she would wear an Argentina soccer jersey when the game was on. I'd be running around yelling the word "goal" when they would score a goal. It would say that our brother, Sergio, would actually become a horse after watching his team play soccer. An excellent soccer player, a fiancé to Tanya, a son to Delia, and a brother to Marisol and Steve. He will never be forgotten. 19 years going on, 20 years. We will still remember. Right now, his story is being shared. It said that our brother knew his cigars and his red wines there at the eye of the storm at ladder 132 out of Brooklyn, housed with engine 280. It also said that everybody loved and delighted when it was Sergio's time to get in the kitchen and cook. He really knew how to do Italian, his pastas, and chicken and other things like that, because he grew up in his father's restaurant, and I believe it was called Piccolo San Marino, from what I read. So everything that's being said right now on this climb is being given by memory. So, with honor and respect for sharing his story, for anyone who wants to know who our brother was and his legacy he left behind. The eye of the storm and the Wall Street Bulls. Our brother will never be forgotten. Our brother is the last brother of the eye of the storm off of ladder 132 to take that vertical. Carrying him up with honor and respect for the sacrifices that were made after the worst terrorist attack occurred on U.S. soil on 9/11, 2001. Our brothers rescued upwards of 25,000 because the bravery, valor, and heroism that was displayed. For our brother, who was a NYPD officer, I believe he was out of Harlem at some point on a precinct there, that said he would catch robbers and drug dealers. We will never forget his service to both the NYPD and the FDNY. Making that transition to the FDNY after 8 years of service as a New York police officer. This 110 floors is dedicated to his loved ones left behind, to his mother Delia, to his sister Marcel, brother Steve, and his fiancée Tanya. This is your climb, taking our brother to the 110th floor. Another thing that was said while he was cooking his Italian food in the kitchen, our brother could recite the lyrics to every Barry Manilow song during that time. Right now, we're taking him up to finish our footsteps. This is the 343 commitment. I'm still counting. Coming to you live in the gym in Southern Park, New Mexico, in the initial 343 climbs. Welcome to humid Southern Park. Take this off so my mask will clear up a little bit. For the family, the FDNY, and our country, he will never be forgotten. As I said before, I got to see his after himself from the city of New York. It's the firefighter Sergio, I believe it's Gabriel Villanueva Way, by 149th Street, if I saw it correct. So we're taking him up with honor and respect all the way to the very top, to that 110th floor. Pushing him up one step at a time, down to 16 brothers left to carry in the initial 343 climbs. The 327th brother to go vertical. For our brother firefighter Sergio Villanueva, originally from Argentina. It said his family immigrated in the 70s. Our brother joined the NYPD, and I believe it was in 1994 he graduated as a police officer, served 8 years, and then transferred into the FDNY. Made that transition from being a police officer to becoming a firefighter. On 9/11, our brother was assigned to the eye of the storm, Ladder 132. I was there with the Engine 280 out of Brooklyn, the Best Bird Stuyvesant area. And he was also, his main home, from my understanding, was in Manhattan. Wall Street Bulls, there with Engine 4, Tower Ladder 15, and the Decon unit. This is his 110 floors, given in honor and respect for his mom and dad. His mom's name is Delia. His sister and brother Maricel and Steve. who I found out that Steve, I'm not sure if he's still with it or not, but he was a news anchor. And for his fiance, Tanya, this 110 floors is to let you know we have not forgotten, but instead we will continually always remember. This is why we climb, to share their stories, so they will never just become a name on a plaque or picture on a wall. Going there to the top, to that 100, symbolically to the top of the tower, the 110th floor. Taking them up. For our brother who was both NYPD and FDNY. 8 years with NYPD prior to transitioning to the FDNY. An avid Argentinian soccer fan. I said again that Tanya, his fiance, would wear a hat with little things that were dangling all over it, and to wear the Argentinian soccer jersey and run around the house yelling "Go!" when they would score. This climb is to take our brother to the very top. The last climb also for the Eye of the Storm for John Villanueva II, Joe's brother and Captain John Villanueva Sr. Both our brothers, this last one and this one from the Eye of the Storm. The last brother of the Eye of the Storm to go vertical. As I said before, he has a history of playing soccer for the FDNY. On the 9th, it said that he scored the only goal, making it 1-0 for the FDNY soccer team to win. And our brother responded on 9/11 to the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil. But because of the bravery, valor, and heroism they've shown, upwards of 25,000 were saved. They will never be forgotten. No matter how many years it's been, they will be remembered. Their families, their stories, their legacies, they will carry on. On this stair climber and on stairwells, coliseums, and stair climbs and runs all across the United States and across the world. They will never be forgotten. Their families will know that commitment we promised to keep, to never forget. We're keeping it. Going on almost 20 years now, and we're still remembering. For our brother who was both an NYPD police officer out of Harlem, a consummate New Yorker was what he was called. Originally from Argentina, our brother had a love for the Argentinian soccer team. It said when it came down to watching the game, he'd be screaming every time they got the goal, yelling "goal," and he would actually be hoarse for several days after because of his love for the game. He knew his cigars and red wine. They're around the Eye of the Storm. And it was said when it was his turn to cook, everybody had the firehouse cuisine. Pastas and Italian that he made and made it upright. He actually got his upbringing in the restaurant that his father owned. I believe it was called Piccolo San Marino Italian restaurant. And he would take what he learned into the kitchen at 132 into 280, the eye of the storm there in Bedford, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. So our brother, from what I read on his memorial page on Facebook, was honored by his jersey being placed in a place of honor at the 9/11 Memorial Museum. His soccer jersey was there. And they also placed a small patch with Sergio's name on it. I promise you, he will never, ever be forgotten. We have a total of 7 initial verticals. After we get to the 7th, it's the 101st floor. For our brothers to only be carried then 9 more floors to equal the 110 floors, symbolically carrying them all the way to the top of the towers. For the eye of the storm, Bedford, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. Ladder 132, housed with engine 280. For the Wall Street Bulls, engine 4, tower ladder 15, the Decon unit. Our brother will never be forgotten. And my understanding, he's memorialized at both the Wall Street Bulls and the Eye of the Storm, along with being memorialized there at the 9/11 Memorial Museum. Taking him up all the way to the very top. Symbolically carrying up with me right now, our brother, firefighter Sergio Villanueva, ladder 132, the Eye of the Storm. The last brother, our brother who is lovingly known as Big Daddy. For the last brother of ladder 132. Taking him up as we go to the top. We have decent visual right now on the second to last vertical coming up. And this 110 floors giving a memorial for the sacrifices made so that others could live. For our brother, Sergio Villanueva, ladder 132, taking them all the way to the very top. And it is so humid today. Coming to you live in the gym in Sunland Park, New Mexico. This is the 343 commitment, and so counting. Initial 110 floor memorial climb for our brother, firefighter Sergio Villanueva, for his mother Delia, his sister Marcel, brother Steve, and fiance Tanya, and any extended family that her brother, lovingly known as Sergio Big Daddy Villanueva, left behind. So now we're on the second to last vertical of this 110 floors in memorial. Taking them all the way to reach the very top with honor and respect for our brother who played soccer with the FDNY. Said on 9-9, the score was tied, and our brother got the ball. I took it home. 1-0, the FDNY won. His service to the NYPD and the FDNY will always be remembered. Our brother was 33 years old at the time of his response on 9/11. Taking him up with honor and respect. Going to that 110th floor for firefighter Sergio Villanueva, Big Daddy, for his fiance Tanya. I promise you, it will never, ever be forgotten. So now, we are now at the last vertical area. After this little climb, we'll get to the 101st floor for firefighter Villanueva. Off of the eye of the storm, ladder 132 housed with engine 280. They're in Bedford, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. But I also got to mention the Wall Street Bulls' assignment on engine 4 and ladder 15 and the Decon unit. Taking them up to the very top with honor and respect. First one of this single day tour. 327 brothers about to reach the very top. Down to 16 brothers to make that journey. This will continue with the end still counting. Upon completion of the initial 343 memorial climbs, the end still counting will take their place. Those that work the pile on ground zero for days, weeks, and months until almost 9 months later, the operation was declared completed. And the last beam was placed in the 9/11 Memorial Museum. They will go vertical. God willing, as many as I can take up until I cannot climb anymore. A promise made, a promise kept. For the families, the FNY, and our country, we must never forget, but always remember. For our brother, firefighter Sergio Villanueva, for his mother, taking him up, pushing him up all the way to the top right now, for his family left behind. Okay, so now we're at the top, to the 101st floor. We have 9 floors left on this 110 floor memorial climb. For his mother, sister, Marcel, and his brother Steve, and his fiancée Tanya. Your family, your son, your brother, your fiancé will never, ever be forgotten. This is why we climb, to finish their stories, for service to the NYPD of 8 years, where he at some point was assigned to Harlem. And it said that he was a consummate New Yorker. Our brother loved soccer, Argentine soccer team. It said when he would watch a soccer game, a few days later he would divorce. For his fiancée Tanya, who during Argentine games, he would have her wear a baseball cap or a hat that had little dangly things all over it, and an Argentinian soccer jersey. And with honor and respect, going up, every time that they got a goal, she would yell, "Goal!" running around the house. Super excited because that was their favorite team. That was Sergio's team, where he came from as a child before his family immigrated to the United States. We're almost to the finish, almost to that 110th floor, the 327th brother, the last brother of the Eye of the Storm, Ladder 132, housed with into 280. They're out of Bedford, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. Is just about to reach the very top. Going there. Live at the top. Firefighter Sergio Villanueva. Rest easy, brother. Big Daddy, we got it from here. You will never, ever be forgotten.